Hello and welcome to Outsiders Weather and the Skeptics Ice Age Watch, where last week we solved the mystery of Henry Larsen's 1944 voyage through the Northwest Passage in late August when, as we know, it is currently impassable thanks to the thick sea ice extent. The mystery was solved when we realised that it was warmer in those Arctic waters way back in 1944 than it is today. Yes, I'm afraid so, dear. Indeed, the unhomogenised original data tells us precisely that. But gather around, kiddies, for here's another Ice Age mystery. In 1845, nearly 100 years before Larsen's voyage, Captain Sir John Franklin, who had been the governor of our very own Van Diemen's Land, was given a daunting task to sail not one but two boats through the last stretch of unnavigated waters of the Northwest Passage. For centuries, Europeans had tried and failed to find a way through. It was a feat that had never been done before. The intrepid Captain Franklin set off with his two boats, HMS Erebus and HMS Terror. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. They got icebound for more than a year, and Franklin, along with 24 of his crew, perished, and the survivors then set off on foot across the ice and were never heard of again. What happened to them? Who knows? But that is not the mystery. The mystery is how on earth, in 1845, during that fateful voyage, before they got stuck in ice, did they ever manage to sail around the north of Cornwallis Island at 77 degrees latitude? We know from a note later discovered that they did, but if you look at satellite imagery from only last week, even at the height of summer, that stretch of water is now under 2.5 metres of ice. So I'm afraid, Sherlock, there's only one conclusion. Just as it was warmer in those Arctic waters back in 1944, as I showed last week, it was also warmer in those same Arctic waters 100 years before that, which of course suggests that the hypothetical theory of man-made global warming is not all that credible.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Indeed, according to Electroverse and data from NSIDC, ice has remained in the Northwest Passage this year despite the decades of dire forecasts, as has the ice in areas north of Alaska within the Beaufort and Chukchi Seas. DMI data clearly shows Arctic sea ice volume or thickness began building at a record early date this year and at a record pace too. This is an historic shift in the Arctic, says David Moriello of the ORP, who predicts the Arctic Circle will be all but covered in ice within the next 4 to 6 weeks. We shall see. This is going to be a winter to remember, he says. But hang on, I'm puzzled. I mean, according to all the climate alarmists, the Arctic should be ice-free by now. Whatever happened to all those expert predictions? North Pole ice-free by 2008, Arctic sea ice gone within 5 years. Could all Arctic ice be gone by 2012? Arctic summers free of ice by 2013. Next year, the Arctic will be free of ice. According to Electroverse, late summer Arctic sea ice, the most closely watched measure of the state of the Northern Pole, hasn't only been incredibly stable over the past few decades, but is now showing signs of growth. Even our old mate Tim Flannery got in the act back in the day. Just imagine yourself in a world 5 years from now when there is no more ice over the Arctic, he said 12 years ago. Tim, with comic timing like that, they should put you in the movies. All you'd have to do is act naturally. And that's it from Outsiders Weather and the Skeptics Ice Age Watch.